winter blast, things like that happen. And the next thing you know, we're all freezing our buns off and hoping that we can show up without it being ridiculously cold. All right. I had to actually come in the studio to thaw out a little bit, which is how bad it is. It's cold, although this studio is ridiculous. All right, so the live stream is up. We're there. And then it went down, and it's going to come back up. I don't know. We're having some streaming issues. We apologize. The wireless is a little bit suspect in here today. All right, so we apologize if we have some issues getting the live stream up. We hope that you can hear it, even if you can't see it. So this is the Patrick Netherton Show, 1130 The Tiger. I am Patrick Netherton, and that guy over there, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, boy.
Hey, boy.
Hey, boy.
It is that guy, Rogers Hampton.
Is it live or is it Memorex? Hey, boy.
Nobody knows.
Hey, boy.
Rogers Hampton, how the heck are you, my
I'm
friend?
good for a Monday afternoon. Cold.
Yeah?
Cold. All
right,
Monday.
So here's the question that's on everyone's mind, Rogers, and I'm sure you addressed it at like 6:15 this morning.
What's that?
But Lord knows I wasn't awake when it happened. Raj?
Yes, sir.
Did you leave your house this weekend?
Just to go to the mailbox.
Okay, so you didn't actually go
Get in my
anywhere.
vehicle and go anywhere.
Right.
No.
You went nowhere this weekend.
Nowhere this weekend.
I love you.
I went nowhere.
That's just...
Had food delivered on Saturday. Didn't have to go anywhere.
Look at you.
Watched the parades on TV. I was warm.
That's the other best part is you watch the parades on TV. And look, I'm here to tell you, I'm a curmudgeon. All right. I think anyone that knows me knows that about me is I'm kind of the oldest 42-year-old there is.
And you've been that way for a while.
I have. I've been the oldest whatever age I am guy.
At that age, yes.
Yeah, for a long time. And so it comes as no surprise that here I am at 42 and I want nothing to do with the parades. Not a thing. And everyone's like, oh, the Highland Parade. It's the one you got to go to. It's different than I don't care. Like, is the parade throwing out $100 bills?
No.
Right. Like they're throwing out, like I saw somebody caught a huge, one of those giant buckets of cheese balls.
Yeah. They throw hot dogs.
Right.
They threw a plunger that was bedazzled.
Like I don't care.
No,
I don't.
Been there, done that. I've ridden, I've stood, I've
and here's
been
the
on
thing.
a float, in a vehicle. It's not that we hate it. It's just I've gotten to a point where my body can't handle that anymore.
And I also don't have kids. Right?
That makes a big difference.
You know
yeah.
what? Look, I took my niece and nephew to the parades, and I went probably 3, 4, 5 years in a row. They would come over from Dallas.
Oh, that makes all the difference.
You know, I'd put one of them on my shoulders, and then
that made their day.
And then I'd put the other one on their shoulders.
So you had thing one and thing two on top of you.
It was a stack of 3. We put a coat on and tried to join the NBA.
Go ahead, take it.
Exactly. We put a 7-foot trench coat on and tried to join the NBA.
Scooby.
That's right, but they saw through it. That's
good.
So we end up, so I enjoyed the parades at that point. Now, I've been to a couple of Mardi Gras parades because that's something I'd never done before. Right, and I'd wanted to see. We went to Zulu. We went to a couple of the other ones. That was fun, right? Because that's something I'd never done, and I was out of town visiting. But Raj, I'll be damned if I'm going to get out in the middle of the parade route. Like I don't drink, so drinking does nothing for me. I've caught all like in the immortal words of Rogers Hampton about his entire life. I say the same thing about the parades. Rogers says I didn't live my life. I say I done parades.
Same here.
Yeah.
I get it.
Now, if I had kids, I'd be happy to take them. That would be fun.
If you like to drink, if you had kids, there's two things right there, and you don't like being cold. That's 3 strikes right there.
I mean, that's, and I've never ridden a float. Like, I probably would like to do that at some point if someone wants to invite me onto their float and I
you
can
get a
throw
chance to do that
that's something I'd
once.
like to do once. Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
It's very interesting to do it, and if you catch the fever and want to do it, good for you.
Yeah, but
I just was like, can I ride inside the vehicle next year where it's warm?
Here's the thing. I would be the guy. I would be throwing like brisket at people, and I'd be throwing like sausage links. And
you
I'd be
know
like, hey,
what?
Catch this beef rib.
Our leader, Greg Adams, was holding up a sign saying "hot dogs, please," with a bullseye. So believe me, they'll take food.
And so there's all the Highland parades different. Like, okay, I'm sure I've never been, but again, unless they're throwing T-bills or safety deposit, what do they call those things that your grandmother used to give you all the time?
Oh, safety bonds.
Safety bonds.
Yes,
right, yeah.
Savings bonds.
Savings bonds.
Savings bonds.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here
You got to keep them for 25 years, so it'll be worth $10.
It's $15. Oh, thanks, Grandma. I can't wait to have this $15 when I'm 45.
One of these days, this book of S&H green stamps is really going to pay off for me.
All right.
Can I get a shovel?
So there are a couple of different ways that you can reach the show.
Yes, how can they speak to Patrick Netherton on the Patrick Netherton Show?
The funny thing is, a 318 number texted me and said, "This is the quickest you've introduced Rogers in 2 weeks." Like, yeah, you're right, actually.
It's Monday.
I know. I want to get into Raj here. And High Rail says, "Rogers, you're his hero."
Thank you, buddy.
Which I'm pretty sure you're – and you're my hero in some regard. Like, I actually had to get out of the house. I had to go, I had to go call a game. I had to work.
Yeah.
And I happened to be in Hammond for the weekend. So,
almost got out to go pick up some crawfish because they were much cheaper if you go pick them up.
Right.
But we'd gotten in that mode of let's get some food delivered, and we'd got the thing in our crawfish.
Wait. You just gotten into that mode.
We've just gotten into that mode
every single weekend since you learned that there was food delivery.
Well, are we going to venture out and maybe go pick some up and run a few errands? Or is it too cold and it's rainy on us?
It wasn't even cold on Saturday.
Yeah, it was cold enough.
It hadn't gotten cold yet. It was still like 70 degrees.
And it kind of started raining a little bit.
Oh,
so it was one of those.
You going to get wet?
Oh, I melt.
I'm melting.
You already know I'm from Munchkin Land, so the old witch, she's just an enemy of mine.
Telling you.
But no, we were going to get out, and then we decided, you know what, let's have them delivered. Got all geared up for it, and it turned out to be their delivery price was $4 more per pound than if we went and got it ourselves.
Yeah.
But we'd already got into not leaving the house.
We already got into
that, so we made another call and had some other food that we all love.
Yeah,
Another one of your favorite places we had to live.
Well, here's what I love. I love the idea that you have to gear yourself up for things. Like, if you're going to go out to get, like, literally, you're going to go out to pick up food, right?
Yes.
Like, it's not like you're going out. You're not going out to eat.
No.
You don't have to get dressed. You can put on pajamas.
Couldn't be naked.
But you can wear pajama pants and slippers.
Well, that's only
right?
Walmart.
And you're well, sure, and you're going to do that anyway. But I love the idea that you have to legitimately get yourself prepared to go out.
It's a process.
Well, you're like, so let's. All right,
man, that socks and shoes.
Let's do our 30-minute preparation.
Let's see
to go out.
Are we going to do this?
All right. We're entering. Like, we got to spend the next 15 minutes meditating on what it means to be ready to go out, and then you get there.
And what time is it? And where do you want to go?
And
because
where can we
time
end up?
Constraint and people constraint.
And now we've got to come back and okay, we got to make sure we're dressed appropriately.
Yeah.
What are we going to do then? And then, okay, well, you know what? The place that we were going to go, we can't. You know what? Let's get our mind refocused into staying. Now, all right, we're going to need 15 minutes to declothe. We're going to need another 20 minutes to
reevaluate what food we want now.
To get our brain on the idea that we're not going to have to leave.
And your brain has to want crawfish, too, and go through all that peeling and all that. So we had to gear down from that, reevaluate a different food choice, which is going to be a completely different taste than seafood. So that's a process there to, back up. Our taste buds thought we were getting crawfish, corn, and potatoes. We're not. What do we want second?
Did your taste buds take that much time? They need
really
that much time to figure it out?
Me
Oh, no. Look, I know.
Today, if I would have grabbed one of those chicken nachos that had beans on it.
I know.
Because I even said before we ate, is there beans on this?
Yeah.
Oh, no, there's no beans on that.
Turns out there were on half of them.
Yeah. And if I would have been into that, I'm sorry, but I would have spit it right out on my plate in front of everybody if they would have kicked me out there. I've built a dam of napkins between food before.
Nobody would have kicked you out.
If I would have went, whoa, beans,
nobody would have kicked you out for it. But it would have been amusing. And if I had known there were beans on it, well, number one, you didn't have any. You didn't have one anyway.
Yeah,
even the half that didn't have beans on it.
I didn't have one. Yeah.
But I love the idea that there's so much mental preparation that goes into where are we eating? Are we leaving the house? Okay, we're not. Now we have to completely
it's that old athlete in me. You got to have a game plan for the event.
It throws our entire lives and our mental focus into a loop when we have to now evaluate, reimagine, replan, and now we have to
and retaste bud.
Okay, we're leaving. We're not leaving. We're staying.
Yes.
And now, now we've got to reconfigure our mouth to figure out what we want to taste.
Absolutely.
You never cease to amaze me, Raj. You and I have known each other since what, like 99?
Yeah, at least 20 good years now.
Like a solid 20 years.
Yeah.
And I've eaten, hundreds of meals with you.
We've broken bread many times.
I've eaten hundreds of meals with you, and yet you still find new and different and exciting ways to amaze me.
To confuse you.
Yeah, it's
caveman. Caveman
it's
lawyer.
really, really amazing. By the way, Raj.
Well, we've knocked that 15 minutes out.
Well, I didn't really intend to get off on that tangent.
No, but that's the way
I had intended to talk about something else in the first segment.
But we'll do that in the second segment.
No, we'll do it now.
Okay.
We'll just take a longer first segment.
Okay.
All right. Did you see that The Masked Singer ended?
I did not.
Okay, this was your show that you were confused by.
I thought I was back in college tripping on something, man.
Right. So you went and picked up something at the Chi Delta house, or I don't know what.
Yeah.
Was that okay? Was that a good?
That's okay. All right.
So anyway, The Masked Singer, for those that don't know, was I want to say it was a British show or a Japanese show. Anyway, it's a show where you have stars. You have not really stars, like famous people, celebrities, athletes, a lot of people that you wouldn't necessarily expect could sing, and some people that can sing. And they come out in these massive, elaborate disguises. All right? One's wearing a giant pineapple. They're like pineapple on this head with like a fake muscle suit or whatever. And one is dressed in this gold lion outfit with this huge lion mask, and someone's dressed as a raven and a peacock, and et cetera, et cetera. And then they come out and they sing, and the panel of judges try to guess who's behind the mask. Well, some of the people that had already been unmasked, Tommy Chong, he was the pineapple. You had
and are you unmasked when they finally guess you, or they can't guess you and then you get unmasked?
No, you get unmasked when the audience eliminates you. So you sing.
Okay.
It's just like a singing competition.
Okay, I see. It's not
you
that
sing,
they keep
then,
singing until you figure out who it is and who it isn't. Okay.
No, it's whoever's the last place gets the fewest votes each episode gets unmasked. So Tommy Chong was the first one unmasked. And then you had Antonio Brown was the first one unmasked. He was in early. Terry Bradshaw got unmasked early. Tommy Chong got unmasked early. Then you started having Ricky Lake, Margaret Cho. You had Tori Spelling. You had who else? Now I want to go look up the entire list. But you had all these different people that got unmasked, and then Rogers, you had the final three. All right, final three. One was LaToya Jackson, who was in there. Yeah, she got unmasked. So the final three, Raj. All right, it's the peacock, it's the monster, and the bee. All right, so the bee, the peacock, and the monster. All right, so they're the last three to get unmasked. The lowest vote getter was the bee. Rogers, it was Gladys Knight. Yeah.
That got eliminated?
Eliminated. So here's the funny thing. Kenan Thompson from Saturday Night Live was a guest judge.
Okay.
A couple
right. I was going to say, don't tell me he beat out Gladys Knight.
No, you'll be amazed at who did, though.
Oh, man.
Kenan Thompson was a guest judge for like 2 or 3 weeks before the finale.
Okay.
And the Bee sang, and he's like, that's Gladys Knight, kids. He's like, Gladys Knight is, my family, like Gladys Knight is our favorite singer. Like, I would recognize that voice anywhere. He's like, that's Gladys Knight. There's no doubt about it. And they all guessed Gladys Knight for the when at the end they asked them to all vote. Like, who's your final prediction for who it is? And everyone except Ken Jeong said Gladys Knight. He said Anita Baker, which, I mean, they're almost the same.
Yeah.
So it turns out it was Gladys Knight. Well, the dead giveaway, Raj, was the Pips were behind her the whole time. I'm kidding.
Oh, I was going to go, dude. What were they dressed as?
The Pips were dressed as pimps, Rogers. Gladys Knight and the Pimps. All right. So Gladys Knight got unmasked. Well, there were 2 left, the Peacock and the Monster. And everyone thought the Peacock was like a boy band member or whatever, and Alan Thicke's kid, Robin Thicke, thought it was Weird Al Yankovic. Well, it turns out, Rogers, it was Donny Osmond. Really? Yes. So Donny Osmond was the Peacock, and then that meant that the Monster, who had talked about how he didn't get respect, he had been knocked down, people didn't know how talented he really was. No one appreciated who he was, and the guy could sing. I mean, the guy had a great voice. Turns out, Raj, the Monster was T-Pain. Do you even know who T-Pain is?
Don't have a clue.
I'm not surprised. So T-Pain
if you'd have said T-Rex, I'd have got that, but T-Pain
is notorious for auto-tune. He was basically the master of using auto-tune on his tracks, right? Well, I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat. Take a good hard look at the. No, I'll play it for you. Anyway, T-Pain is known for auto-tuning his stuff, right? And so he was talking about how he gets a reputation as just a guy who auto-tunes stuff.
What would be his most famous song?
Oh,
is it
geez.
I'm in Love? Then it's got T-Pain and Akon, Bartender. T-Pain and Chris Brown, Best Love Song. T-Pain and Wiz Khalifa, 5 o'clock. T-Pain and Young Jock.
I'm enjoying
Buy You a Drink.
Buy You a Drink, probably. Although it's not really T-Pain's song, but Buy You a Drink.
The only one that he's not collaborating with is called I'm in Love with a Dancer.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so T-Pain, his whole thing was he's auto-tuned. Okay. Right? So, and usually if you use,
like, do you believe?
Yeah,
blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, that thing. Okay. That thing. Well, T-Pain is known for auto-tune. And so because of that, he always had the belief that no one knew that he could actually sing. And let me tell you something, Hambone. That dude can sing. Because he just got to get up there and sing
then why
normally.
Does he auto-tune?
Well,
that was just the thing?
That was just his thing,
okay,
I think,
okay.
And I think he never got to, once he became that, no one gave him a chance to, hey, let's see what you can actually sing. And he got out there and he's got a great voice. And he said he thinks this is going to help kind of relaunch his career and allow him to sing some real songs using his regular voice instead of auto-tuning everything. Anyway, I thought it was interesting because of all the people, Gladys Knight finished third, and T-Pain beat out Donny Osmond and Gladys Knight. Oh, also Joey Fatone was one of the other ones.
Oh, so one of them was a boy band member?
Yeah, one of them was Joey Fatone.
Okay, because they thought it was the husband of...
Yeah, Donnie Wahlberg.
Yeah, there you go.
Jenny
See,
McCarthy.
I know faces. Yeah. That one.
Yeah.
Those brothers.
By the way, Jenny McCarthy, most famous for making out with Larry the Cable Guy in what movie was it? I just watched it the other day. Where he played an investigator.
Oh,
I can't think of the name of the movie.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So enough of that. You gonna play some Gladys Knight for me? That a baby. Yeah, when the Pips were back there dancing, it was a dead giveaway that it was Gladys Knight. They were just going back and forth. Yeah. The voice is still iconic, by the way. And she sang the national anthem at the Super Bowl. And then she ended up on The Masked Singer, of all things. So There you go. Get it done, Gladys Knight. We'll take a break. We got a lot of stuff to discuss. College basketball, college football, NFL draft combine. And by the way, in studio coming in about an hour, Chris Lovell, the head coach of the Bossier Parish Community College Cavaliers, who was my 8th grade basketball coach for Church League basketball. We'll talk about all that coming up on the Patrick Netherton Show.
So often we talk Chevy Land and the beautiful new cars, trucks, and SUVs out there, and for good reason. I mean, my gosh, have you seen the Silverado? Have you seen that Camaro? I feel like we've neglected the service department. Here's what Christy J had to say. My service rep, Kenny, was very friendly and understanding, kept in touch with me, letting me know the status of my vehicle. He's knowledgeable of his job. I will recommend him to all my family and friends. He's excellent. John B. in Bossier said the service professionals did a great job. Great service at Chevy Land. You know it by the feeling. 7500 Uri Drive. We have been preaching this for so long, but it's nice to hear it from other sources as well. Gibbsland Bank and Trust certainly knows about customer service. The Minden Press Herald, our buddies over there in Webster Parish, just voted Gibbsland Bank and Trust the best bank and best customer service in Webster Parish. How you like them apples? You want great customer service? You want Gibbsland Bank and Trust, the great banking team.
Message and data rates may apply. Individual results may vary. See website for details.
But hey, I'm buying a huge flat screen TV so I can finally see it without my glasses.
Why not just get LASIK at the LASIK Vision Institute? That's what I'm doing.
My glasses and contacts are a pain. I'd love to finally get rid of these, but who can afford LASIK?
You can. Because the LASIK Vision Institute is offering dramatically low prices and an absolutely free consultation. Just text BEST to 350-350. The LASIK Vision Institute has already performed over 1 million procedures. They use the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology that helps the majority of patients achieve 20/20 vision for a fraction of what others charge. Better vision, better value. The LASIK Vision Institute. Make this the year you finally get LASIK. For a free consultation plus an extra 20% discount, text BEST to 350-350. You'll see for free if LASIK is right for you. That's BEST to 350-350.
Fact: we all love video doorbells. Voice assistants have changed our lives. We can control our home with a touch. Indoor and outdoor cameras help us keep watch. We want to guard our digital lives and take security with us on the go. With ADT, you can have all of these things, combined with 24/7 monitoring from the most trusted name in home security. ADT, real protection. Visit ADT.com to learn more. License information available at ADT.com.
Even in my own home, I had my own designated space to smoke. If I think about it, it really was like I was punishing myself. A friend of mine said, why wouldn't you just try the Juul? And so I went out and I bought one. The idea of going back to smoking, I couldn't even imagine doing that. I don't think anyone, including myself, thought that I could switch.
Carolyn made the switch October 2016. Make the switch at JUUL.com. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Hey, not to brag, but Buffalo Wild Wings is the official chicken wing of the NCAA. Yep, soak it in. You know who isn't the official chicken wing of the NCAA? Your couch. Because your couch doesn't have a partnership deal with the NCAA. So do you want to be home on your couch, the official nothing of the NCAA? Or do you want to be at Buffalo Wild Wings, the official place that has lots of TVs and beers and screaming fans, and it's officially better than your couch for college basketball? Buffalo Wild Wings. Please drink responsibly.
Imagining a better bank starts with looking at the savings rates most banks offer and saying, really? Capital One is building something better. You can open a Capital One savings account with one of the nation's best savings rates from anywhere, like here, or here, or here. One of the nation's best savings rates. Opened online, at a Capital One location, or from anywhere. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One N.A. member FDIC. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
It was our first concert, so we were nervous.
Well, Dad was.
With Total Wireless, we're on the nation's largest, most dependable 4G LTE network for less than you'd expect. Now we can always stay connected.
Always, Dad?
And now with the new Mega Plan, you get 25 gigs of high-speed data for $50 a month. That's more data on a single line than we've ever had. So fall in love with your favorite characters, sing along to your favorite songs, and have really, really long conversations. Total Wireless. Total confidence. Available at Walmart. See terms and conditions at totalwireless.com.
It takes both vision and skill to create a pool as unique as it is beautiful. A perfect blend of time-honored craftsmanship and cutting-edge technology. The hand, heart, and mind working in perfect sync to create something truly special. A source of timeless relaxation, priceless memories, and endless joy. That is the mission of a master pool builder, and that is the magic of Moorhead Pools.
11:30 The Tiger, your home for LSU sports, powered by Jack Spring Electric.
You know, Nicole, they say I've got an electric personality. Does that help me out at First Choice Personnel?
It would help you. I'm looking for electrical or mechanical, technical people.
I'm not so mechanical, but I do have an electric personality.
Sounds good. You come my way. Let me see what I can do for you.
All right, 797-7810, 797-7810. First Choice Personnel, make First Choice your last call.
Let's get to the meat of the matter with producer Rogers Hampton.
Hey, boy!
Here's your master of ceremonies, Patrick Netherton.
11:30 The Tiger, Bossier City's home for LSU sports.
We welcome you back to the Patrick Netherton Show, 11:30 The Tiger. Yes, I couldn't remember what the name of the Larry the Cable Guy movie was with Jenny McCarthy. It was Witless Protection was the name of it. And by the way, got to get and you know, Cable Guy and I text a good bit. I sent him I was actually in a hotel. I don't remember where I was. I was in a hotel just hanging out. I had like the day and I wasn't doing anything. I don't think I could go anywhere. I think maybe I was on the bus, you know, where it's one of those where you can't leave. And so I think I was just hanging out in bed. I just happened to turn on Witless Protection was on. So I sent a screenshot to Cable Guy and I'm like, yeah, I'm watching. Oh, I was in Arkansas. I was in Conway, Arkansas. And I told him, I said, only the finest of entertainment in Conway, Arkansas. And he wrote back, he said something to the effect of, well, what else are you going to do in Conway, Arkansas, but watch Witless Protection? So good for him. Good for him. He got to make out with Jenny McCarthy, and on the cover of the, you know, like the movie poster cover or whatever, he's got his hand on her butt. I mean, giddy up. Good for my man, Cable Guy. Well done. Nothing wrong with that at all. All right, so I realized I failed to give you any information about this show in the first segment. I gave you a lot of information about the Masked Singer, and I gave you a lot of information about Rogers Hampton's mental preparedness when it comes to either going out to get something to eat and bring it back or staying home and having something delivered. So I realized I didn't realize that this was, you know, minutes and minutes of time that have to go by in order to process this and get ready for this. So the show is the Patrick Netherton Show. I am the aforementioned Patrick Netherton. He is the king of the Lollipop Guild, Rogers Hampton.
Hey, boy!
That is him. You can call the show if you like at 318-320-1130, 318-320-1130. You can text the show at 318-657-0HAM, 657-0426. You can watch the show if you like on Facebook Live. We are up and running with the video stream. Easy to do. Just go to facebook.com/Netherton Show. You can see my beautiful long-sleeved Demons football shirt that I've got on today in honor of
Mr. Know-It-All.
In honor of Jazz Ferguson. We'll talk about that coming up in just a bit as well. We got to get into the combine. And if you would like to join us on Twitter, that is also easily done. At Netherton Show is the show page. Or you can follow along at PT Netherton at Heyboy Rogers. That's the two of us. I've got one of my favorite pictures of all time up on the Twitter and the Facebook today. And that is the picture that I took with our guest coming up in an hour. Bossier Parish Community College head coach Chris Lovell will join us. Lovell was my 8th grade church league basketball coach. All right, I was at Broadmoor Baptist Church, and he was our 8th grade church league coach. I mean, he was a baby himself. We were in 8th grade. He probably was, and I'll ask him, I'm not sure how old he was. He had to have been either in college or just out of college, maybe. something in that area. He was a baby. Obviously we were in 8th grade. And we were really good in 8th grade church league. I mean, we were, well, I'll spoil some of the surprise. We were the state champions. Now, I don't know how many teams participated in 8th grade church league around the state of Louisiana, but enough to hold an actual state tournament, and we won it. Interestingly, I believe, and Chris may have to correct my memory, but I believe the second best team in the state was Summer Grove Baptist, and we played them, both here in Shreveport, but we played them for the championship, and I want to say it was in Lake Charles, maybe? I don't remember. I'll have to ask. We'll have to get some of the details ironed out. But then, Rogers, I'm going to leave you with a cliffhanger here. Okay. All right? I'm going to leave you with a cliffhanger. Because we won the 8th grade church league state championship. We were the best church league team in 8th grade in the state of Louisiana, Rogers. And then our coach, Chris Lovell, who's now piloting the BIPC men's team, in all of his infinite wisdom, said, you know what? Let's go play some AAU ball. Raj, I'm going to leave it right there. But it is a story you do not want to miss with what happened when we played AAU basketball as a bunch of 8th grade church league champions. All right? Let's just say, well, I don't want to, no, I'm not giving anything away. I'm just saying you need to be here listening at 4:30 when Chris Lovell comes on because the story is legendary. All right? I told you a little bit about it at lunch, and it is amazing is what it is.
Well, with y'all being the state church champs, when y'all went to the White House, did you get served fast food?
Yeah, we did.
Too?
We did. Actually, let's see who would have been the president in that. Would that have been the first
But
Bush?
you did see that Trump did it again.
Yeah, North Dakota State.
Yeah,
the Bison. Although those guys probably thought it was a delicacy coming from North Dakota.
Coming from there.
Yeah, North Dakota.
They don't know this meat. They know the ones that
they've never seen. They probably don't have a McDonald's in North Dakota.
Probably not.
Let's see, what year would that have been? My 8th grade year would have been
what year? Yeah, tell me what year.
91. So I guess that would have been the first Bush.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense. That would have been the older Bush, and then So when we went to the White House, actually, he just told us all about the 1,000 points of light. Not gonna do it. Wouldn't be prudent. Not gonna do it at this juncture. Wouldn't be prudent. I can only do Dana Carvey's impression of George H.W. Bush. Anyway, so just trust me. Stick around for this story. We're going to talk about what went down when the Little Church League basketball champions decided to go take on an actual basketball team with actual basketball players, the AAU squad. It was a sight to behold, is all I'll say. All right, we'll talk about that coming up, and Chris Lovell will join us at the bottom of the hour. At the bottom of the next hour. So in about an hour from now at 4:30, he'll be in studio chatting it up. All right, so big news over the weekend, obviously the draft combine and LSU basketball. We'll talk a little bit about both of those things. But the first thing I wanted to make mention of is, can we talk about hyperbole on Twitter for just a moment? Everyone saw the picture of Ole Miss wide receiver DK Metcalf, right? Shirtless, looking like he's, made from granite. The guy's chiseled beyond belief. Well, it then comes out, and I believe it was Ian Rappaport who first reported it, that DK Metcalf had 1.6% body fat. Now, I told everyone I'm keeping the average by doing the exact inverse. I have 98.4% body fat, so I'm keeping it there. I'm keeping it locked down. All right? Yeah, that way we're both fit, balanced, average of a very unhealthy 50% body fat between us. But here's the only problem with that, Raj. I saw the number, and I got very suspicious. All right? I'm like, 1.6% body fat sounds ridiculous, right? It sounds like it's to me, that sounds like you're dead. Because your body naturally needs fat to, it cushions your joints. It helps with your metabolism. It helps with your organs. I mean, you need a percentage of body fat at all times. So I start doing some quick research, Raj. It literally took me, and you know how I love to do some research to debunk things?
Oh, yeah.
That's why they call me Mr. Know-It-All.
That's right.
So,
thank you, Mr. Know-It-All.
You're welcome. So I did some quick research, Raj. Anything for a man under 5% body fat is considered dangerously unhealthy. Because under 5% body fat, you start losing the thing that helps keep your organs stabilized, keeps your brain functioning properly. When you get down below 5% body fat, you're considered dangerously unhealthy. Now, at 1.6% body fat, Rogers, you're dead. Seriously.
But he's not dead.
That's because he's not 1.6% body fat, which is why I started this discussion with, can we talk about hyperbole on Twitter? Now, here's the problem with this. Ian Rappaport is blue checked on Twitter, which means he's legitimate, right? He is the voice of the NFL. Everyone knows who he is. He's well regarded in NFL circles, but this is dangerous. Honestly, it's dangerous for him to tell everyone that DK Metcalf is 1.6% body fat. When in reality, if he was 1.6% body fat, he would be dying right now. Matter of fact, they had a bodybuilder, Raj, that went under 3% body fat, and he did die once he got under 3. Now, look, the good news is I'm never going to worry about that. Like, that's not the way I'm dying.
No,
I might die choking on a rib bone, but I ain't dying because of too little body fat, all right? That ain't going to happen to me. I ain't going out like that. Same reason that I don't believe in jogging. You hear all these healthy people that die while they're jogging or working out or whatever. Why do it?
I say no pain, no pain.
Exactly. If I get up on the treadmill and I have a heart attack, well, what the hell was I on the treadmill for?
What good was that?
Then I was just hurting myself only to kill myself. What's the point in that? Well, this got a lot of traction, and a lot of people talked about it. And look, DK Metcalf is no doubt a specimen. And I guarantee you his body fat percentage is sub 10, right? It's probably 6 or 7%, something like that. But it ain't 1.6. All right? So I'm going to need everyone to calm down on this.
To calm down.
Well, there were a lot of people, they were freaking out that this guy had, it was retweeted tens of thousands of times. No, he doesn't have 1.6% body fat. I don't know what they used to measure it. Like, did they use the old? Did you ever have the body fat measurements in high school, Raj, with the calipers?
I was way too old for that. They had no idea what that even meant when I played.
Well,
they had no.
It was, I guess.
Turn your head and cough was as close as we got to that.
At least we know one guy has both testicles.
Yeah,
we found
Texas,
that out.
Yeah, Texas cornerback.
Yeah, they asked him if he had both testicles.
Yeah.
So. And some of those questions are just, I mean, some of the things they do in those meetings are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Although, did you see the one guy who had the worst combine was the defensive end for Florida, Polite?
Yeah.
Or Polite. I'm not sure which pronunciation it is.
He's not the one they made have a staring contest.
No.
Okay.
But he goes in, he ran a terrible 40 time. Then he started to go through drills, only to then claim to have a hamstring injury. Should have maybe done that before you ran the first 40. All right, claims to have a hamstring injury, and then goes and talks to the media and basically talks bad about all the teams that interviewed him. And his whole thing was, well, man, they were just showing me negative plays, and they were talking bad about me, and they were dissing me or whatever. He's like, the only team that didn't do that were the Rams. The Rams, at least, were nice to me. He said all the rest of the teams were picking apart my video. They were watching video of me. They were telling me everything I was doing wrong. He's like, none of them were they were all being negative about it. And one of the reporters asked him, well, how much do you watch your own video? Like, what are you working on? He goes, man, I never watch my own video. And everybody's like, and this guy's applying for a job in the NFL? Like, this dude had the worst combine of the year. I can't remember the guy, Polite, whatever, the rusher for Florida. And they said, so you don't ever watch your own stuff to try to improve your technique? No, man, I just go on feel. Like, I just go with what I feel. Everybody's like, yeah, well, you ain't getting a job that way, buddy. Like, how do you think this is the proper way to go about auditioning for a gig in the NFL? Like this, come on, man.
Well, you know what? The perfect team then was nice to him, because if you're just doing it on feel, that Rams cornerback just felt like he couldn't get to the ball, so I feel like I'm going to hit the Saints wide receiver and helmet to helmet and pass interference. That's what he felt like doing.
I tell you this, the defensive line coach for the Rams is Bill Johnson, former Saints D-line coach, former Northwestern State football player. He ain't going to let you get by on field, brother. Bill Johnson don't play that. Bill Johnson ain't about you just coming in, I just feel like doing a spin move right now. You better learn some technique, buddy. Anyway, so he basically berated all of the teams that interviewed him, said that they were only picking apart his negative plays and only trying to be negative towards him, and only the Rams were nice to him, and he doesn't watch his own film. Like, everything you could possibly do wrong, this guy did wrong. You know, short of going in there and like punching one of the personnel guys for asking a bad question or something. Like, I can't think of anything that this guy could have done worse than he already did. So, that was a bad combine. Good combines, Devin White, no doubt about it, most assuredly. Greedy Williams started with a good combine, but then finished in kind of an odd way. Raj, I don't know if you saw this. I know he was kind of running toward the end of the Fletcher Show. But Greedy Williams ran a tremendous 40. All right, so you get 2 attempts at the 40. Right, you run the first one. Most of the time, people are nervous because they haven't done it yet. So they run a slower first time, and then they're comfortable the second go-around. They know what to expect. They run a better time the second go-around. Jazz Ferguson, a perfect example, wide receiver that was at LSU, then finished at Northwestern State. Jazz ran a 4.53 or 4.56. First 40, came back and ran a 4.45, which is booking it for as big as that dude is. That dude is nearly 6'5", 220, and he's running a 4.45. But here's what happened to Greedy Williams. Greedy came out and ran a very fast 4.37 40 to start with, and then decided that he didn't want to run his second 40, which, hey, why would you? You're not going to do much better than that. 4.37 shows you've got high-end speed. Well, but then here's the problem. He then went into the pedal and react, where you backpedal and have to react to what the guy with the football in front of you is doing. Well, apparently he was not good in that drill. Then in the next drill, he had to restart multiple times because he couldn't get it correct. And then he said he cramped up and he stopped the rest of the day. So not a great finish for Greedy Williams. A tremendous beginning to his day, but not a great finish for Greedy Williams. He ran a really fast 40 and then struggled in the individual drills. Although, look, say what you will, I always go back to Mike Mamula. That's my number one combine guy. You remember him, Raj? Mike Mamula from Boston College that the Eagles ended up drafting. You know, no one knew who this guy was out of Boston College. He comes in and blows them away at the combine. The Eagles end up taking him early, and he had a very pedestrian NFL career because in the end, no matter what you do at the combine, the tape that you have for 2, 3, 4 years at the college level is who you are. All right, now look, you can get a little stronger, you can get a little faster in between the end of the regular season or the bowl season in college football and the combine. You can certainly work out a ton, you can improve your body, you can improve some times or whatever, but you are who the film says you are. No matter what the drills are at the combine itself, you are what your film says you are. And I think we see that NFL, draft people tend to forget that from time to time, that sometimes they fall in love with a kid who comes in and has a crazy draft, has a crazy combine, and suddenly they forget that, this guy was very mediocre in college. Like what we saw on tape for 3 years was very mediocre. But, hey, he ran a 4.2, a 4.25, so, maybe we need to make sure that we take him, that kind of thing. Rusty said Greedy should have a better pro day. Absolutely. Everyone should have a better pro day because the pro day is built around what you're comfortable with. It's your coaches. It's your players. You know, if wide receivers are getting the ball thrown to them, it's typically from their quarterback, so the timing is there. That's the one thing. When you watch the quarterbacks and the receivers work together, it's always kind of crazy because you can see the lack of timing on these guys because, you know, literally you have, 12, 13, 14 quarterbacks. You have 20-something receivers in each group. And these guys are going to go out, you know, and you're going to line up for the receiver's going to run a post corner, right? And he's going to do 2 different rounds of the post corner. Well, the first time he's got Daniel Jones as his quarterback. And Daniel Jones throws the post corner a certain way. Well, then the next time he comes up for the post corner, he's got Jake Browning from Washington as his quarterback. So it's really hard to develop any sort of rapport and any sort of timing within the quarterback wide receiver duos. And so I think that's why you see the QBs and the wide receivers struggle sometimes because they're throwing passes to guys they're not familiar with. And that is certainly understandable. So when teams get to go back, guys get to go back for their pro days, they should be better. That should be their opportunity to do better things, to feel better, to be more comfortable, and to show what they're really all about. But I'll tell you, some local guys really did well for themselves. Obviously, Devin White. I think Greedy Williams just showing that he's got great top-end speed for as big as he is. 6'2", 185 was his official measurement. 4'3", that's tremendous. I think Jazz Ferguson did a lot for himself at the Combine, running a sub-4.5 40 at that size. I think that's a big deal. So some local guys were able to get up there and do some good things. And so I'll be interested to see kind of how this now translates when they end up going in and now pro days. You know, how many more people will show up at Natchitoches for Jazz Ferguson's pro day because of what he ran at the Combine? You know, how many more people? Now you're going to have a ton of people going to Ruston for Jalen Ferguson's pro day because he didn't get to do any of the on-the-field stuff. So there's a lot of stuff to take into account, and obviously pro days coming up in the next couple of weeks are going to be very, very big. It's a lot of photos. Taking a lot of pictures. A lot of film. Got to watch a lot of that film. Boys on film. Or men on film, I guess. That's what we're dealing with. It is the Patrick Netherton Show, 11:30 The Tiger. Chris Lovell, head coach of Bossier Parish Community College and my 8th grade church league coach. I'm going to ask him which one he's more known for right now. We'll talk about that coming up at 4:30. LSU basketball when we return. More draft, combine stuff, NFL stuff. That's all to come on the Patrick Netherton Show.
Welcome to Walk-On's Bistro and Bar, where every dish starts from scratch. Fresh ingredients bring our food to life. Mouth-watering cuisine, unique flavors, and we're always more than happy to share our Southern charm and culture. A love of life, family, food, friends, fun, sports, and celebrations. Walk-Ons. It's game day with the taste of Louisiana.
I love cuddling on that couch with you.
I love cuddling on the couch with you,
I'm going to put my feet underneath your legs because my toesies are cold.
Oh, golly. What do you do with these things?
It's so cold in here.
Are they dipped in daiquiris? Seriously.
Maybe we need to turn the heat up.
That's not a bad idea. Is there any way that AccuTemp could put a couch heater in this thing? AccuTemp, 861-2255. Please warm up my wife's feet. Working in the warehouse. One of my favorite 70s songs, Nicole. Working in the warehouse now. Nicole from First Choice Personnel joins us. You've got some warehouse jobs you're trying to fill.
I always have warehouse positions available. Anytime, give me a call, 797-7810.
You're probably too young to remember that song, aren't you? Working in the warehouse.
Yeah.
You don't remember that one, do you, Nicole?
I do.
Oh, see, there we go. Nicole knows it. 797-7810. Sing it with me. Working in the warehouse now.
Hey, you're that famous actress. You must travel so much. What's the best site for hotel deals?
Hilton.com.
No. One with crazy savings.
Hilton.com. With their price match guarantee, if you find a better rate, they match it and take 25% off.
No, one with lots of options.
Hilton.com has 16 top hotel brands. Hampton, Hilton Garden Inn, Waldorf Astoria.
Hilton.com. You should totally do their commercials.
Expect better. Expect Hilton.
You're good.
I know, thank you.
Applicable terms and conditions at Hilton.com.
At Walgreens, shopping for spring beauty essentials is a snap. We can help you find foundation that lasts longer than your day or a lipstick to finish any look. Now, purchase 2 of your favorite cosmetics, nail products, or beauty accessories from brands like L'Oreal, Maybelline, and Revlon, and get your 3rd one free. At Walgreens, refreshing your beauty routine is pretty simple. Walgreens, trusted since 1901. Cosmetics, nail products, and beauty accessories are buy 2 and get the 3rd free. Mix and match through March 23rd with card. Exclusions apply.
You gotta be so cold to make it in this world. Yeah, you're a natural, living your life cutthroat. You gotta be so cold. Yeah, you're a natural.
Alexa, play Imagine Dragons.
Okay.
'Cause you're a natural. I'm feeling hot as stone. You gotta be.
With Amazon Music, a voice is all you need. Get access to over 50 million songs. Download the Amazon Music app today.
Ready for low prices on your breakfast faves? Time for a Target run. Find everything you need to make your mornings easy. Stop in and get everything you need to fill your bowl with day starters like Cheerios. And don't forget to grab cereal's bestie, like Horizon Organic Milk, all price right daily, with low prices today and every day. Get in, out, and on your way to take the day. Target run and done.
It's time for some straight talk. Some wireless companies lure you in with a free phone to get you in the door, then lock you into a long-term contract. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get a free phone at Walmart with no contract. Just port in with auto refill for 3 months. Text ST-FREE to 611611 to see if you qualify for a free phone at Walmart.
Debit or credit card required. Message and data rates may apply. Privacy policy at straighttalk.com/privacy. Terms and conditions at straighttalk.com/terms.
Mark Rohde with Men of Courage, Louisiana. Man Church going down Tuesday night, March 5th at 6:30 out at the stable. You don't want to miss this night. We always have a manly meal. You're going to hear you some manly music and get a manly message from my good friend Kevin Fladman Jr. This event is for men of all ages, so I don't care if you're 12 years old or 120. Come on out March 5th at 2195 Swan Lake Road, 1 mile north of 220. There's no movement of God without the men of God. So if you want to join the movement, visit menofcouragela.org.
People are looking for an employment situation where you're surrounded by folks that you like, doing work that you enjoy, and benefiting humanity. Hey, I know a place that can do all of that and more. Gibbsland Bank and Trust. It's not just a job, it's a career. Visit their website, gibbslandbank.com/careers, and join the great banking team.
Floating through the airwaves like smooth hickory smoke, Patrick Netherton.
KWKH, Shreveport, Bossier City.
Breaks a tackle at the 25, 10-5, touchdown, Tigers!
We welcome you back to the Patrick Netherton Show right here on 1130 The Tiger. He is Rogers Hampton. I am Patrick Netherton. Coming up in about 30 minutes, we'll chat with the head coach of the Bossier Parish Community College Cavaliers. Raj, did you know that the Cavs are actually hosting the regional tournament coming up this week? Yeah, I don't know that anybody knew that. I didn't know that until yesterday, and that's why I reached out to Chris Lovell to have him on.
I like it.
Yeah, apparently the NJCAA, the National Junior College Athletic Association,
All right,
is holding its regional tournament at the Gold Dome, of all places.
Well, that's special.
Yeah, and look, let me tell you something. If you've never been to, if maybe you're not a big basketball person, or you don't, we have Centenary College here. That's D3 basketball, so maybe you don't get out there very often. I don't know. But I'll tell you this, if you want an opportunity to go watch some good basketball, you should go watch some junior college basketball. It's usually guys that are either, don't academically qualify, or maybe they're not quite polished enough to make it at the next level. But, you're going to see some guys that have the talent that will go D1. Like, these are guys that will end up in Division I basketball somewhere. So it's your opportunity to go hang out. It starts tomorrow with both men's and women's action, and both the men's and women's LSUS teams are going to be involved. LSUS, men's and women's BIPSI teams are going to be involved. You have teams like Glenn, Kilgore, Panola, Coastal Bend, Trinity Valley, Lee, Lamar State College of Port Arthur, BIPSI, et cetera, Angelina. And so I think there's some opportunities if you want to go out there and enjoy watching some basketball. It's not a tough price. It's let's see. I've got to find the price here for you. Yeah, I don't see the actual price on it, but it's not going to be very expensive. It's going to be fun. BIPSI is going to play at 8:00 on Tuesday against Lamar State College of Port Arthur. The women for BIPSI are going to play on Wednesday against Angelina Junior College. So, great opportunity to go hang out, go watch a lot of basketball, really enjoy yourself, man. This is fun, and BIPSI's had a nice year. So, don't be afraid to go hang out and enjoy watching some of these kids. And again, a lot of the people that you're going to see playing in these games are going to end up at a D1 school somewhere. Most of the time, and we'll talk to Chris about this as well, most of the time these kids just don't make it academically. They have Division I talent, but they don't quite make it academically. They're not quite good enough with their grades. And so you see them go down to the junior college level. That helps them get their grades in order, and then they move up to the Division I level again and start playing. So that's to me, it's different at the JUCO level than, say, like the Division III level that Centenary's at, because typically in Division III, it just means you're not really good enough to play Division I, and you're at that level because that's the level you should be at. Whereas most of the junior college kids are there because, they have the ability to play at D1, but for whatever reason it didn't work out. And a lot of times it's academics. You didn't qualify out of high school. You go the JUCO route. Maybe you weren't thought of as quite good enough. You needed to be a little bit more polished, but you're still considered a Division I talent. They put you in the JUCO ranks. You take a couple of years, and then you move on. And that's something that, we'll talk to Chris Lovell about coming up at the bottom of the hour. You have basically, the opportunity to mold these guys and to help them make their dreams come true, right? They want to all play Division I basketball. They want to all play big time somewhere. Well, when you go to a JUCO, that's your chance to sort of polish yourself, to understand what it takes to do it academically, and then you end up moving on to the next level and hopefully, having some success once you get there. Speaking of the next level and having some success once you get there, how about the LSU Tigers? And a place that they have not won in a long time, or I should just say traditionally struggled in Alabama. They go in just the 5th win in the last 25 years at Coleman Coliseum. That is remarkable. Even more remarkable, Raj, they are 8-0 on the road in SEC play. Now,
yep,
that's
incredible.
You know what the old adage is, right? Win all of them at home and half of them on the road in conference, and you've had a great season.
They're doing the opposite.
They've won more than half of them at home too.
Yeah.
But,
you should be undefeated at home.
Yeah, they're 6-2. They're 6-2 at home. They're 8-0 on the road, which is kind of, you would normally think, okay, you would be 8-0 at home and maybe 5-3, 4-4 on the road, and that would, that kind of puts you in the thick of things, but they're not. Skylar Mays, 16 in the second half. Also, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. It was a game that went back and forth down the stretch. I was actually watching it, Raj, from my favorite road pizza joint in Hammond. It's where I get it's my favorite pizza when I'm road tripping. So the Demons were playing at 3 o'clock. Excuse me, they were playing at 4 o'clock in Hammond. So I went over to Tommy's Pizza in beautiful downtown Hammond and was sitting in the bar watching I'd forgotten the game started that early, so I got there about halftime, watched the entire second half, and it was back and forth. You know, they went back and forth a good bit, and ultimately LSU was able to prevail. LSU able to prevail thanks in large part to the fact that they stopped taking threes in the second half. They got a lot more deliberate about what they were doing. They were not hitting threes all. And by the way, if you want one real troubling aspect of LSU, okay, and look, I'm not here to blow smoke up anyone's skirt. I feel like I'm a realist. I feel like I tell it like it is, even though people may not agree with what I believe the truth to be. Obviously, Jerry Bird didn't believe that the Saints had put people on notice so they could win games in different ways, right? So I know that sometimes people may not agree with what I believe the truth is, but I'm going to tell you what I believe the truth is. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I'm not going to blow, as I said, I'm not going to blow smoke up your skirt, any of that stuff. And for some of you, why are you wearing skirts? Anyway, one problematic thing for LSU is they do not shoot threes very well. They're not a good three-point shooting team. Now, they make up for it by the fact that, you know, between Kavell Bigby-Williams, between Naz Reid, Javonte Smart's ability to get to the rim, Skylar Mays' ability to get to the rim, Marlon Taylor is just, you know, a freak athlete. You know, Tremont Waters can get it to the rim. And then, you know, your other guys off the bench are mostly bigs. So the ability to get points in the paint is there for LSU. It's always there. Between Reed and Bigby-Williams inside, and then Smart, Mays, Taylor, Waters all have the ability to get to the rack. LSU can get away with not shooting threes very well. But what they did in the second half, Raj, was they stopped shooting threes, right? And they made a much more concerted effort to work the ball inside or to at least get the ball inside. Even if it didn't mean throwing it into a big, it was a drive by one of those guards. And what that did is LSU shot 34% in the first half, and a third of their shots were threes, where they only hit 3. Well, the second half, they only took 6 threes in the entire half and shot 50% from the field. They were 16 of 28 from inside of three-point range. That's getting it done. All right, 16 of 28 from inside of three-point range is nice. 1 of 6 from outside of three-point range, not so much. But that's what they needed. Also, they were able to lock down Alabama pretty good. Alabama shot just 37% from the field. By the way, can we just talk about Dante Hall, the big from Alabama? He looks like he's 7'4", 111 pounds, but that dude is athletic as can be. Now, I think he jaw jacks a little bit too much. And, Raj, I don't know how much of the game you saw, but there were a couple of times when he would dunk on someone and he'd come up banging himself on the head and, like, he was a lot of histrionics, all right? I don't necessarily care about all that. I don't care for it. I'm not going to go out of my way to bash a kid for it, but that kid is impressive, to say the least. Hall is very impressive. Dude had 14 and 10 on 7 shots. That's when you know you're getting things done. So, very impressed with him. I think, look, Alabama's going to be one of those teams that no one's going to want to see when they get in the tournament because Avery Johnson, having that NBA background, is a coach who can draw up mismatches. He can find guys. He can draw up plays that are going to get him the matchup that he wants and let his guy go and take care of things himself. So in that regard, I think Alabama's very dangerous. Plus, between Norris and Hall, they've got a couple of prime-time athletes. All right. Brandon Austin had a huge game with 23. Alabama's just one of those teams, I think, that's very dangerous to see in a one-game scenario. And so LSU improves, though. They get the win. They now move on to Florida to take on the Gators on Saturday, and then they finish up the regular season at home against Vanderbilt before they get things going in the SEC tournament. The good news for LSU, Raj, guess who won over the weekend, and guess who lost?
A bunch of teams.
Tennessee and Kentucky. Tennessee won, Kentucky lost. We knew one of them was going to kind of drop out of that race because they played each other. And who do the Tigers have the tiebreak over?
Both of them.
There you go.
But still 2-3 spots behind both teams in the polls, even though they beat both of them.
And again, as
are leading the SEC.
As you and I both know, and you know how I feel about polls. Polls are awful. They're ridiculous. They do nothing. Again, you know why Tennessee and Kentucky are higher than LSU in the polls? Because they've been there longer. In the end, it's all it is. It's because
Name recognition.
LSU is Johnny come lately. Johnny come lately. They're the new kid in town, Raj. Now I'm gonna make you look it up, aren't I? Look at you. I do. You're already ready. They're Johnny come lately. They're the new kid in town, Raj. And so you know that they were going to.
An hour when we go to break.
We can go to break.
Okay. Right.
So everyone knows Tennessee and Kentucky, especially Kentucky. All right, Kentucky's been there from the beginning.
Right. Yeah, they're one of the blue bloods.
Kentucky's been there from the beginning. All right, but Tennessee was such an impressive team early on, and we knew what Tennessee was.
And last year as well.
And we knew who Tennessee was.
And their coach.
We know who Admiral Schofield is. We know who Grant Williams is. We know who Jordan Bone is. We know these guys, so but we didn't know who LSU was, right? We know Tremont Waters, and we kind of knew Skylar Mays. But nobody knew who Javonte Smart was. Nobody knew who Naz Reid was. I mean, they knew who they were. They didn't know how they were going to be, right? You didn't know what they were going to be. And that's why what they have done so far has been incredibly impressive, because you didn't know. This was a collection of talent that wasn't necessarily a squad that had congealed at that point. So we didn't really know what we were going to expect. And so what you find is you don't have a team that has any name recognition going into the season. And so the pollsters take forever to get themselves into the top 25, to push LSU into the top 25. They take forever to push LSU, and then once they get there, they're slow to move up. That's just the way it is. Some things will never change. That's just the way it is. But don't you believe it? Play them both, Rogers, just at the same time. We'll see how that sounds, the mashup. So the reason LSU is underranked is because they're late to the polls, because no one knew who they were to start with. That's why I think preseason rankings are so awful. Like, I'm not a fan of regular season rankings, but I am a massive, massive opponent of preseason rankings, because we don't know. And if you had waited until 2 or 3 months into the basketball season before you decided what the polls should have looked like, then the polls would have looked a lot different. LSU would have been there a lot earlier, right? Instead of them having to sort of slowly climb the polls and still being behind the two teams that they beat. You probably wouldn't see that. But that's the way this works. That's how polling happens. It's unfortunate, but it's true. All right, let's take a break. We'll let Rogers play Johnny Come Lately. It's a new kid in town. But that's what LSU is, and that's why they're not ranked that high. That's why no one knew who they were going in. It was a bunch of pieces that we didn't know how they would fit together. We've obviously seen they fit together incredibly well. And Will Wade is the coach of the year in the conference. There's no doubt about it. And so LSU is going to take longer to get up the polls than anyone else will, because they didn't start there, and they have to climb. Whereas it's much harder to climb than it is to fall in the polls. All right, coming up in about 20 minutes or so, we'll chat with the head coach of the Bipsy Cavaliers, Chris Lovell. He is Rogers Hampton. I'm Patrick Netherton. On the Patrick Netherton Show, 11:30 The Tiger. We are not Johnny-come-latelys, everyone. We've been here for a while. We'll be back.
Johnny-come-lately, the new kid in town.
Welcome to Walk-On's Bistro and Bar, where every dish starts from scratch. Fresh ingredients bring our food to life. Mouth-watering cuisine, unique flavors, and we're always more than happy to share our Southern charm and culture. A love of life, family, food, friends, fun, sports, and celebrations. Walk-Ons. It's game day with the taste of Louisiana.
I'm dreading this. These utility bills.
Well, it is wintertime.
Oh, not so bad. See? This is what I've been telling you, sweetie.
Oh, my gosh. Look how much money we saved.
Compared to 3 years ago before we had AccuTemp, come out and start our maintenance plan. I'm telling you, we're paying less for heat now than we did back in the 50s.
It really works.
It's amazing. AccuTemp. I'm telling you, get your unit maintenanced by the fine folks at AccuTemp. Save you money. 861-2255, 861-2255.
Indeed knows finding the right hire takes time away from your business.
Hiring a qualified data engineer felt like a second job.
More job seekers use Indeed than any other site, so there's no better place to find someone with the skills you're looking for.
I needed someone with a master's in computer science and database experience.
Plus, Indeed screener questions help you find your shortlist fast.
Now I'm back to having just one job.
Get a $50 credit to give your first job posting premium placement at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, quality standards, and usage limits apply. Additional terms online.
Fact: we all love video doorbells. Voice assistants have changed our lives. We can control our home with a touch. Indoor and outdoor cameras help us keep watch. We want to guard our digital lives and take security with us on the go. With ADT, you can have all of these things, combined with 24/7 monitoring from the most trusted name in home security. ADT, real protection. Visit ADT.com to learn more. License information available at ADT.com.
Using an overpriced trash bag?
Pricey, pricey, pricey!
A bag that breaks?
Whippy, whippy, whippy!
Or a smelly bag?
Stinky, stinky, stinky!
Time to switch to hefty, ultra-strong trash bags, always at an ultra-low price.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
They're our best bags yet, and they cost less than Glad ForceFlex, where sold head-to-head, so you'll be...
happy, happy, happy!
Hefty Ultra Strong with Arm & Hammer odor control. Also available in heavy-duty black bags.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Planning a spring break getaway? Well, with the Capital One Venture Card, you earn unlimited double miles on any purchase you make today and every day. And those miles add up to get you closer to that trip to paradise. Every vanilla soy latte, double miles. Every time you pump gas, double miles. Even when you buy a set of Monogram beach towels, yep, double miles. You earn unlimited double miles on every purchase, and then you go. The Capital One Venture Card, the card that takes you there. What's in your wallet?
Capital One Bank USA N.A.
It was our first concert, so we were nervous.
Well, Dad was.
With Total Wireless, we're on the nation's largest, most dependable 4G LTE network for less than you'd expect. Now we can always stay connected.
Always, Dad?
And now with the new Mega Plan, you get 25 gigs of high-speed data for $50 a month. That's more data on a single line than we've ever had. So fall in love with your favorite characters, sing along to your favorite songs, and have really, really long conversations. Total Wireless. Total confidence. Available at Walmart. See terms and conditions at TotalWireless.com.
It was our first concert, so we were nervous.
Well, Dad was.
With Total Wireless, we're on the nation's largest, most dependable 4G LTE network for less than you'd expect. Now we can always stay connected.
Always, Dad?
And now with the new Mega Plan, you get 25 gigs of high-speed data for $50 a month. That's more data on a single line than we've ever had. So fall in love with your favorite characters, sing along to your favorite songs, and have really, really long conversations. Total Wireless. Total confidence. Available at Walmart. See terms and conditions at TotalWireless.com.
We have been preaching this for so long, but it's nice to hear it from other sources as well. Gibbsland Bank and Trust certainly knows about customer service. The Minden Press-Herald, our buddies over there in Webster Parish, just voted Gibbsland Bank and Trust the best bank and best customer service in Webster Parish. How you like them apples? You want great customer service? You want Gibbsland Bank and Trust, the great banking team.
11:30 The
Using an
Tiger,
overpriced
your
trash
home for
bag?
LSU
Pricey,
Sports,
pricey,
powered
pricey.
by Jack
A
Spring
bag that
Electric.
breaks?
Whippy, whippy, whippy.
Or a smelly bag?
Stinky, stinky, stinky.
Time to switch to Hefty Ultra Strong trash bags, always at an ultra low price.
Hefty, hefty, hefty.
They're our best bags yet, and they cost less than Glad Force Flex, where sold head-to-head. So you'll be...
happy, happy, happy.
Hefty Ultra Strong with Arm & Hammer odor control. Also available in heavy-duty black bags.
Hefty, hefty, hefty.
Honk, honk. Joining us on our little hotline here is good old Nicole. How you doing, Nicole?
I'm doing great, Tim. How you doing?
Wonderful. First Choice Personnel, 797-7810. Honk, honk. We see a lot of 18-wheelers outside of our window here, Nicole. And I wonder, is there a need in that field of work that First Choice Personnel could take care of?
Yes, actually, we need diesel mechanics. We're looking for them with experience, with your own tools. We need them really bad right now.
Diesel mechanics are needed right now at First Choice Personnel. Honk, honk, 797-7810. And by the way, these sound effects aren't costing you an extra dime at all. First Choice Personnel.
A good time is in the air. It's the Patrick Netherton Show.
If it's LSU sports, it's on 1130 The Tiger.
We welcome you back to the Patrick Netherton Show, 1130 The Tiger. He is Roger Sampton. I'm Patrick Netherton. Griffin fan corrected me. I did misspeak earlier. I don't know why. I have it in my head that today's Wednesday for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, by the way, speaking of, I'm not here tomorrow or Wednesday. No, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if it's going to be a national, if it's going to be Fletcher, best of. I don't know. But I'm not here tomorrow or Wednesday. I've got LSU softball is coming to Natchitoches tomorrow, so I'm calling that game. It's a 3:30 game. So unless we want to simulcast me doing softball of LSU NSU, but on the NSU side, not on the LSU side, for like an hour, for 2 hours will be 11:30 the Demon, I guess. But unless we want to do that, then I'm going to be gone because it'll be during the game, and then. On Wednesday, matter of fact, as soon as the softball game's over with, I'm hightailing it to Thibodeau, and the Demons take on Nichols. By the way, for those that are interested in where the Demons are at, they are currently a game out of being in the tournament. They started last weekend a game. They were tied in a four-way tie for 7th, and the top 8 teams go. Well, the Demons lost, some other teams won, and now they're a game back, but if they win their last 2, I feel reasonably confident they'll get in, and they have a shot at winning their last 2. So that's good. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we'll talk to the head coach of the Bipsy Cavaliers, Chris Lovell. By the way, if you want to see the amazing picture of me in 8th grade and Chris Lovell, that would have been, 91? I guess that right, 91? So some 28 years ago now, amazingly. If you want to see that, you can catch it on the Twitter feed and the Facebook page as well, facebook.com/Netherton Show. Twitter, you can also find it. You know what we need to do? We need to recreate that photo. I need to pull my pants up really high to make some shorts, and then we need to grab a trophy somewhere, and then we can take that photo. And do we have a dot matrix printer that we can print out one of those old school clip art banners? By the way, I'm telling you, just click on the picture. It's amazing. I was wearing the worst white shorts in human history, I think. But we had just won the state championship in 8th grade church league basketball. And coming up in about 10 minutes or so, I'm going to tell you what happened when our dear coach decided we should play AAU and how that all went down. I'll say this. It may or may not have resulted in the worst loss of his entire coaching career. I don't know what losses he's had since then, but I'm going to hazard a guess that it may have been the worst loss that he's had in the entirety of his coaching career. But we'll talk about that coming up in just a bit. But I did misspeak because for some reason I had in my head that it's the middle of the week right now. It's not Monday. Yes, it is Wednesday night. LSU is taking on Florida on the road, and then Saturday they play Vanderbilt at home. I don't know why I had it Saturday and Wednesday. Wednesday night, or 2 nights from now, they'll be taking on Florida on the road, and then Saturday they host Vanderbilt to wrap up the regular season, and then the SEC tournament will begin right after that. But again, we mentioned, and we'll talk about it in just a bit, if you want a chance to go out and catch some quality basketball, you can certainly do that. It will be coming your way starting tomorrow at 1 o'clock, as a matter of fact. So go enjoy a little afternoon. Raj, you'll have your afternoon off. You can go watch some basketball if you want to. Uh-huh. Well, no, I won't be here. What are you going to be here for? No, I'm sure we'll go national and you don't have to worry about it. I don't ever assume anything. I don't know. That's not my decision. It's not the one I have to make, so I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, but if you want to get started at 1 o'clock tomorrow, you have the men's first round games beginning at 1 o'clock tomorrow. You have the women's quarterfinals starting on Wednesday at 1 o'clock, and then the games play out from there on Thursday, Friday, and then the championships on Saturday. So a lot of good basketball going on at the Gold Dome. If you want to go watch and participate, enjoy that. Should be a heck of a lot of fun, and we'll talk to the BIPC head coach, Chris Lovell, coming up here in just a bit. But one last thing I wanted to mention about the LSU game before I go, or before we get Chris on. I'm not leaving. We're just gonna let Chris host the show for the rest of the time. We'll let him host it. It's the BIPC half hour coming up in just a moment. No, but one of the things I wanted to mention before we turn the tables over to BIPC and the NJCAA is you're talking about an LSU team right now that is proving that it has the ability to win games that it doesn't play traditionally. All right, and Alabama is a team that can force you to play untraditional basketball because Avery Johnson, with that NBA background, he's going to force you into a lot of defensive matchups that you don't want. He's going to isolate his best guy on one of your worst defenders, and he's going to take advantage of that matchup. That's one of the things that NBA background lends itself to. And so for LSU to be able to, survive that, and, they gave up some points, but they didn't give up a lot. They did a nice job. They held Alabama under 40% shooting. When you have that sort of thing happen, then it certainly bodes well for your ability to continue to win because in the end, especially when you get into the NCAA tournament, you're going to face a variety of teams that do not play the way you play. Now, you may face a team or two that does play the way you play. All right, you might face a team that wants to get up and down the floor a little bit and score a little bit, but you also may face a meat grinder at one point where they're just going to slow the game down completely. They're going to, kind of like Florida did in the first matchup, where as we heard from Andy Kennedy, the former Ole Miss coach, when he talked about that Florida game that Florida won in Baton Rouge, he said they wanted to score early or score late, right? So they wanted to either get a really good shot quickly before the defense set up, or if they allowed the defense to set up, they needed to take their time, run their offense, run the clock down, and then look to score in the last 10 seconds of the shot clock. So if you're LSU, you have the ability to win a slow game like that or a fast game like some of the ones you may find. If you have the ability to win games at different tempos, in different scoring, then that is the sign of a complete team. And LSU over the last couple of weeks has proven that, right? Because Billy Kennedy and A&M tried to slow them down, and they won that game. And then they turned around and they beat Alabama on the road and did a nice job with that in a game that had a little bit more tempo but was a little bit more matchup-oriented. Your ability to move back and forth between styles of game and win at all different paces says who you are as a basketball team. And right now it says that LSU is the best team in the Southeastern Conference. Whether that holds up for the last two games of the season, we shall see. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some BIPC basketball. And, of course, we're going to talk about some Broadmoor Baptist 8th grade church basketball as well. Don't think I'm letting Lovell off the hook without talking about the worst defeat of his entire coaching career. And what did he tell us in the huddle? That was amazing words of inspiration late in that game. We'll talk about that. He knew he was walking into this, but we're also going to talk a lot about his Cavaliers and about the upcoming tournament, because we definitely want people to show up for that. It's the Patrick Netherton Show, 11:30. The Tiger. BIPC head coach Chris Lovell joins us next.
You can bank with, 15, 20, 30, 40 different banks to choose from in Shreveport, Bossier alone, maybe even more than that. But how about investing in a bank that invests in the community, putting your money into the bank that's in the community? That's what you're doing when you make Gibbsland Bank and Trust your great banking team. That's right. They do so much in this community, so many different ways, and you are a part of it when you join up with Gibbsland Bank and Trust, the great banking team. So often we talk Chevy Land and the beautiful new cars, trucks, and SUVs out there, and for good reason. I mean, my gosh, have you seen the Silverado? Have you seen that Camaro? I feel like we've neglected the service department. Here's what Christy J had to say. My service rep, Kenny, was very friendly and understanding, kept in touch with me, letting me know the status of my vehicle. He's knowledgeable of his job. I will recommend him to all my family and friends. He's excellent. John B. in Bossier said the service professionals did a great job. Great service at Chevyland. You know it by the feeling. 7500 Uri Drive. Sweet Nicole joins us here on 1130 The Tiger from First Choice Personnel, and she is always so good at letting us know what workers are in demand at First Choice Personnel.
Right now, Tim, I'm looking for clerical, administrative, data entry, strong data entry people right now. Any ladies, men, anyone looking for positions right now, call me, 797-7810.
Now, when you say strong, is there a minimum in the bench press they've got to have or not?
Nope, just strong clerical people. I'm looking right now.
That's what we're talking about. So you don't have to worry about maxing out your bench press. Just max out your opportunity at First Choice Personnel, 797-7810.
O'Reilly. When it comes to safety, nothing is more important than your vehicle's brakes. If it's hard to stop or you hear squealing or grinding noises during braking, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts. You'll find the brake parts you need from trusted brands like Brake Best and Brake Best Select at everyday low prices. Play it safe with brakes from O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
And now a message from Puffs Plus Lotion Tissues. Coughing and sneezing aren't the season's worst flaw. It's the ordinary tissues that can leave noses raw. With each little wipe, they can leave noses red. So do your sniffer a favor. Buy Puffs Plus Lotion instead. Puffs have lotion to soothe and are soft on your nose. You'll feel the difference with each of your blows. Especially during cold and flu season, a nose in need deserves Puffs indeed.
This week, you'll find great deals at Walgreens. Now with card, buy one, get one 50% off on hundreds of select Walgreens brand health and wellness products through April 27th. Save on 12-pack Coca-Cola or Pepsi products. 3 for $9.99 with $2 off online coupon and card. Limit 3. Get great deals on the essentials you need right here at your neighborhood Walgreens. Walgreens, trusted since 1901. While supplies last, restrictions and exclusions apply. See store for details.
At Navy Federal Credit Union, we know that a new job comes with a new checklist.
Like adjusting to a 6 a.m. alarm. Check. Learning my new commute. Check. And setting up a checking account with fast access to my first paycheck. Check.
Sign up for a checking account with Navy Federal to enjoy no or low monthly fees, ATM rebates, dividends, and direct deposit for fast access to your money. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Visit NavyFederal.org. Open to the Armed Forces, DoD, veterans, and their families. Insured by NCUA.
Do you dream in color, in sparkling blues, and sun-kissed yellows? In your dreams, do your kids trade technology for time with you? Is fun and relaxation the main agenda? Do your dreams shape your family life and bring you all great joy? Your dreams can be real and lasting, and you can live your dreams every day. Moorhead Pools, where your dreams come true in your own backyard.
Welcome to Walk-On's Bistro and Bar, where every dish starts from scratch. Fresh ingredients bring our food to life. Mouth-watering cuisine, unique flavors, and we're always more than happy to share our Southern charm and culture. A love of life, family, food, friends, fun, sports, and celebrations. Walk-Ons. It's game day with the taste of Louisiana.
Let's get to the meat of the matter with producer Rogers Hampton.
Hey, boy!
Here's your master of ceremonies, Patrick Netherton.
Where Shreveport and Bossier come for LSU Sports, 1130 The Tiger.
We welcome you back to the Patrick Netherton Show right here on 1130 The Tiger. All All right, the last half hour is all devoted to two teams in particular. The Bossier Parish Community College Cavaliers and the unmascotted 8th grade Broadmoor Baptist Church League champions. We're going to talk about both of those with our guest, the man who at one time coached me and now, and unfortunately, still taller than me, but he's a very tall human being. Chris Lovell, the head coach at Bipsy, joins us right now on the Patrick Netherton Show. Yes, round of applause from the studio audience. Thank you very much. Coach, how are you, man?
Man, doing good. Just getting ready for this tournament.
Man, get a little closer to the mic. We'll get you up there. All right, good. We're going to make sure you're good. All right. So we're going to get to our history together in just a bit because it's a story that we have to tell, and I tell it every time you join me anywhere in media because look, if nothing else, you may end up being the head coach at Kentucky one day for all we know. But you'll always have this humbling experience to fall back on. I'll always make sure that your head doesn't get too big, okay?
I appreciate it.
So let's talk about this tournament because I didn't know until yesterday that this was going on. The National Junior College Athletic Association Regional Tournament is being held at the Gold Dome starting tomorrow, 1 o'clock, the early games, and then it's the men's and the women's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday championship on Saturday. How cool is it to be hosting this thing and having it at one of the great venerable facilities of all time, the Gold Dome?
Well, it's really a great opportunity for our conference. This is our conference tournament, and Region 14 is the conference we play in, which is arguably the toughest junior college conference in the country. And so what you're going to see is a lot of high major Division I players that a lot of people will watch on TV next year competing out there. And so it's great to be in Shreveport, to have it here, being a homebody, being back here and in the Gold Dome's a great thing, and it's going to give all of our athletes the most exposure possible, especially with a regional airport being 10 minutes away from Centenary and being in a major city.
All right. So, and I was mentioning this, and in part of encouraging people to go, I wanted people to understand the difference between junior college basketball and, say, Centenary, which is Division III, right? Division III, and this is kind of what I said earlier, Division III is typically guys that aren't good enough to be Division I. Now, sometimes you'll have guys that are, for whatever reason, they just choose, especially in a town like Shreveport, maybe someone chooses to stay home. But for the majority of guys in junior college, they are usually guys that have the ability to play Division I. Either they didn't, the grades aren't good enough, or perhaps they weren't ready yet and they needed a couple of years of polishing. You're talking about at the JUCO level a ton of talent, and especially, you've told us some of your guys have that kind of talent. Why should people come out and watch this as opposed to maybe going to and I don't want to single out Centenary, but what's different between what they're going to see in the junior college tournament versus what they might see in a Division II, Division III tournament?
Well, what you're going to see in a junior college tournament is you're going to see potential professional basketball players. The guys at this level, they go to junior college for a number of reasons. One, like you mentioned, maybe academically didn't qualify coming out of high school. Others are late bloomers, but then most of the teams in our conference have a bunch of Division I transfers. They played Division I basketball their freshman year, and for whatever reason have come back to junior college to reopen their recruitment and to better themselves.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing because, when you look at the JUCO level, every team that you watch that's a Division I squad has a JUCO kid somewhere on it, and a lot of them have a lot. And there's several coaches who just do it with now grad transfers and JUCO kids.
That's right.
I look at Chris Beard at Texas Tech. I think he's a perfect example. He's a JUCO, a lot of JUCO kids, a lot of graduate transfers. Musselman at Nevada, same way. A lot of JUCO kids, a lot of transfers. And so when you look at, the ability to see, to me, it's almost like when we had the captains here. Mm-hmm. And, they were AA, but you saw guys that you knew eventually were going to be in the majors, right? You were going to see guys that were going to get called up. To me, that's kind of what junior college basketball is.
No, it is, and it's a high level of competition, and these kids can really, really play. In fact, we've got a kid on our team right now who's ranked the number 3 JUCO player by 24/7 Sports in the country. He's signed with Nevada, who's the number 12 team in the country, NCAA Division I, and he's probably the second best player I've ever coached talent-wise behind Julius Randle, who starts for the Pelicans.
Right. Well, I was going to get to Julius as well because you had a chance to coach him at the high school rank. So when you look at now, how you sell Bipsy basketball, because look, Bipsy has a nice long tradition of success. This is a school that has had a lot of kids that have gone on and had great careers. It's been a program that has traditionally been very proud. When you got the job, and this is what, your second year?
Third
year. So when you got the job 3 years ago, you come in and Bipsy had kind of fallen a little bit. It wasn't what it used to be. How did you go about initially getting in there? How did you go about trying to get it back to what it should be?
Well, when you follow the heels of someone like Mike McConaughey, who had so much great success at Bipsy,
right,
and now is at Northwestern State, continuing that legacy. But there, in between Mike and I guess me coming on, they had some marginal success. And then, when I took over the job, I think they had 4 or 5 wins the year before I got there.
Right.
And so what we did is we had to reestablish the winning culture. And that starts from the way you do things, to practice gear, to being professional, and to bringing in the kind of players that are going to help you compete in a very, very tough region like our conference, but also have a chance to compete nationally. And so it really was like birthing a brand new program from scratch. And it's taken us 3 years to get there. We went to 10 wins my first year from 4, and then we went to 17 wins last year. We're sitting right here at 19 wins now, with a chance to win our 20th game tomorrow night, which would be a great accomplishment, and the first time in almost 2 decades since Mike has been there that has happened.
Yeah, and it's incredibly impressive. And so, okay, this is just in your personal journey, and we're going to talk about what went down in 91 coming up in just a little bit. We'll discuss that, I promise. It's a great story. Well, you go from that, you ultimately make your way to Prestonwood over in Carrollton. I drive right by there every time I go to my sister's house. So you make your way to Prestonwood in Carrollton, and you're winning state championships at Prestonwood. You mentioned Julius Randle, who you had, who ultimately ended up in the league with the Lakers and now with the Pelicans. And so, you've got that rolling. You got that program going. You're a guy from here. You grew up here. You played here. Tell me, what was the call for you to go from Prestonwood Baptist, where you've established a dominant program, to come back to Shreveport and take over and try to rebuild a program?
Well, yeah, I mean, everyone thought I was crazy at first. I think the question was, well, why would you leave? We had just won our 5th straight state championship in the state of Texas. We were putting out, major high Division I basketball players in college, and ultimately Julius makes it to the league. But it was an opportunity to come home and to take a swing at coaching at the college level.
Sure.
The college basketball is so difficult to get into, and the opportunity to come here and do it around people who love me, a place that knows me, a place that has embraced me over the years, with my mom and dad being 10 minutes away from the school and family being in town. It was just a great opportunity that we couldn't pass up. And heck, if we weren't successful, my thought was, well, I can always go back and get a high school job, and continue that somewhere. And so it was an opportunity to do that, and it's been great. I mean, I tell you, the support we've gotten from the community and the people here has been phenomenal. How they have financially supported us and helped us rebuild this program.
Talking to Chris Lovell, the head coach of Bossier Parish Community College. Tell me about your team. Who you mentioned you've got, the number 3 ranked guy in all of junior college by 24/7. Tell me about this team. What should make someone want to come out and watch you guys at the Gold Dome this week?
Well, we started out the year undefeated, and we received our first national ranking back at the beginning of January for the first time in 2 decades. So that was quite an accomplishment for us personally. But the reason you want to come out is that, we have 6 guys that will end up going, to play Division I basketball after this year.
Yeah.
And so they're an exciting group, but, we get up and down, we play fast, and we have a lot of length and a lot of talent. And when we are in a rhythm and clicking, we're a lot of fun to watch. And I think for anyone who loves basketball or has small kids that want to get out and do something this week, this would be a great, great opportunity for them to come out. And really, it may open their eyes to what junior college basketball is all about.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The talent level. And I will tell you that at the baseball side anyway, there are more talented junior college programs than Division I programs. And I don't know that it goes to that extreme, but there are certainly some of the top JUCO programs that if they faced a middle of the road Division I team, they'd beat them and beat them pretty easily, because these are all D1 kids that just, for whatever reason, haven't quite gotten there, whether it's again academics. And that kind of leads me to my next question about, you have these kids for 2 years, and a lot of them, there maybe is a discipline issue. Maybe there's a grades issue. Maybe there's just, they're not quite ready. They've got the talent, but they're not quite, to that level where they need to be. How I don't want to say difficult. That's not the right word, but how much of a different process is it to understand that you're trying to kind of either jumpstart these kids, maybe put them back in the right direction? Like, there's a lot of stuff that you're involved in. It's not just, hey, you're at the Division I level and I'm coaching you guys. It's, okay, maybe this kid needs some extra academic work. Maybe this kid needs a little extra love and he didn't get it at home. Maybe this kid, is one that we just need to pump up a little bit more because he has the talent, he just hadn't quite got. Maybe this guy needs more skill work. How do you go about determining what you're looking for and how you approach these kids, knowing that you've only got 2 years and your job is to kind of get them ready for the next step?
Well, the biggest thing with these guys is once we bring them into our culture is trying to build their character. It's not so much about the skill work or other things, but it's really more about influencing them and challenging them in different ways than they've been challenged before. Our number one priority when they come to us is that they walk out of here prepared for life. And, I take my role as a role model very, very seriously with these young men. We do things in the community together. We go to church together. We do more than just play basketball together. The goal is to get them graduated and to have everything in line so that any Division I program that looks at them, that they want them to be a part of their program in the future and help them win games. And that's what it's all about, because we want these young men to be successful in life. And if they can learn that in 2 years with us, then we've helped them be successful people down the road.
From the text line, Cookie Man asked, is the final still in Hutchinson, Kansas?
Yes, the national tournament's still in Hutch.
Okay, he said he went back and watched Bipsy play back in the early 90s at Hutchinson. Couldn't remember. All right. Rogers, we need a break. Let's take a break. When we come back, it's time for you to face your reckoning of your biggest coaching failure of your entire life. I'm assuming it is. We'll talk about that. Let me put it this way. I hope it's the biggest coaching failure of your life, because if there's been a worse one, maybe you're not as good a coach as I think you are. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back with more from Bipsy head coach Chris Lovell. Let's talk about the time he decided that an 8th grade church league team should play AAU basketball. That was a great decision. We'll talk about that next on the Patrick Netherton Show.
Nicole joins us from First Choice Personnel, and they've got jobs, and more jobs, including the clerical field.
Right, Tim. Right now, with clerical positions, we have administrative assistant positions. We have positions for bookkeepers, basic clerical, receptionists, anything right now. If somebody's actually looking for a job or people looking for employees, we have a lot of what you're looking for.
There's even a superhero. They call him Captain Clerical at First Choice Personnel, 797-7810.
Have you seen all the trucks on Uri Drive? And I'm not talking about the ones swerving to miss potholes.
No, I know what you mean. 7500 Uri Drive, Chevy Land. What did you call that place again?
The Land of Chevys.
The Land of Chevys. It's Chevy Land. Sweetie, all those 2018 Silverados we see out front when we're driving down, you're going to start seeing a lot fewer of them.
What? Why?
$12,000 off select 2018 Chevy Silverado Crew Cab LTs. That's what I said, Allie.
Oh, they're on sale.
$12,000 off select 2018 Chevy Silverado Crew Cab LTs. I'm not going to say it a third time.
You should.
Chevy Land. We care about you. 7500 Uri Drive in Shreveport, Louisiana. 318-843-6228. 318-843-6228. That's customer service line for Gibbsland Bank and Trust. Oh, we've had to use it a few times. And when we call, human beings answer the phone. Death to the machines. Long live the humans. That human touch, that personal touch from Gibbsland Bank and Trust customer service.
Welcome to Walk-On's Bistro and Bar, where every dish starts from scratch. Fresh ingredients bring our food to life. Mouth-watering cuisine, unique flavors, and we're always more than happy to share our Southern charm and culture. A love of life, family, food, friends, fun, sports, and celebrations. Walk-Ons. It's game day with the taste of Louisiana.
Do you dream in color, in sparkling blues and sun-kissed yellows? In your dreams, do your kids trade technology for time with you? Is fun and relaxation the main agenda? Do your dreams shape your family life and bring you all great joy? Your dreams can be real and lasting, and you can live your dreams every day. Moorhead Pools, where your dreams come true in your own backyard.
Hey everybody, this is Clint McCullough. I'm with Bayou Bell Waste. We're the trucks that have the big magnolia on there. You may have seen us supporting these Shreveport Mudbugs. We are proud to be the dumpster service provider for Shreveport Bossier. So if you need a dumpster, use the home team. Call Bayou Bell.
Let's get to the meat of the matter with producer Rogers Hampton.
Hey, boy!
Here's your master of ceremonies, Patrick Netherton.
Where Shreveport and Bossier come for LSU Sports, 1130 The Tiger.
We welcome you back to the Patrick Netherton Show right here on 1130 The Tiger. He is Rogers Hampton, pushing all the buttons. I'm Patrick Netherton, our special guest, Bipsy head coach Chris Lovell, who was also, back in his formative years, the head coach of the Broadmoor Baptist 8th grade church league team, of which I was a member. Now, let's see, that was what, 91, right, Chris?
It was a very long time ago.
Yeah, and so how old were you in 91?
Gosh, I was probably 19, 20 years old.
I mean, you should know how old you are.
Right.
You know what year you were born,
yeah,
right?
I'm just trying to slow play it to where no one can figure it out.
You were a baby. Were you just out of college or still in college?
Well, I just started college. I was playing basketball at LSU Shreveport during the time. Yeah,
there you go. So we get together, the church league basketball team, 8th grade, Broadmoor Baptist, and we had some talent. We had some kids that could play. We had a couple of good guards. We had one really good big. And, of course, being a big yourself, being, 6'6" or so, you were very focused on making sure that he was the focal point of the offense, which he was, and deservedly so. All right, Brandon was the guy inside. Now, I was not a frontline guy. I was not particularly tall at the time. I was not all that coordinated. I wasn't, I'm not the athlete that I am today. Let's just put it to you that way. And so we get together, we get going. We ran a 2-2-1 press that was very effective. We turned teams over. We got after them. We got up and down the floor. We were a fun team to watch in 8th grade church league. Would you agree with that?
Oh, there's no doubt. You guys were overachieving, and
it was great.
Pat had a mean drop step, so
yes.
It was good.
I learned my Micans.
I take all the credit for that.
As you should. You taught me the drop step. My Micans were incredibly good. So we get through. It was us and Summer Grove, right? We were the big rivals in town, and we played them for the city championship and won it. And then I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, we also played them for the state championship, right?
No doubt.
And their coach was one of the fire chiefs.
Yes.
What was his name?
Bo Roberts.
His son, Miles Roberts, was their cocky little point guard. And I remember I hated that kid, right? I mean, it's 8th grade, all right? I don't know what Miles Roberts is doing these days. He might be a pillar of the community. But at that time, I hated that kid. He was so cocky, and he was so good. He could dribble all over the place. I will tell you my number one athletic feat of all time, Rogers, is we were on offense running our press break because they were pressing. No. Actually, we weren't. We were pressing. And so I was one of the two guys at half court. And my job was the guys in the front would push them toward the sideline, and I would go up on the sideline and trap. Right? That was how our press worked. Well, little Miles is their point guard, and he was tiny at the time. Even in 8th grade, he was a small kid. I wasn't a huge kid, but I'm certainly a lot bigger than he is. So he comes running down, dribbling, trying to break the press. I'm over on the sideline. I've got, as Coach Lovell instructed, I've got my foot on the sideline, so he can't go around me, right? So I'm right there, and I'm just standing stock still. And that dude ran into me at full speed, never saw me.
He definitely lost that battle. There's no doubt we won that deal.
All right, so he flies off of me. To this day, still my proudest accomplishment in terms of physical, any sort of physical activity. It was my number one accomplishment. But, okay, we go down. We face the hated Summer Grove. Again, none of us had mascots. So we face Summer Grove. We beat them. We're the state champions. All right, we're feeling great about ourselves. We take pictures with the dot matrix printout with the clip art basketballs on either side of it. It's all good. And then in his estimable wisdom, our head coach, Chris Lovell, sitting here in the studio, decided, you know what? Let's get a real challenge. Let's let these kids play AAU. Now, we were, in terms of AAU basketball, we were incredibly slow, unathletic, really terrible for AAU.
No doubt.
Right? We're bad for AAU, like really bad. We're a team that should not be playing AAU basketball. Why did we play AAU? Can you please explain this to me before I tell people the result of what happened?
Well, every now and then you have a lack of judgment as a coach, and I think I had one. But I think, we had some success, and I was like, hey, what the heck? Let's go out there. Let's try it. Maybe some of these kids could overachieve, get some confidence as they headed into high school, try out for their high school teams and make it. And maybe this would be a good way for them to see what the competition level would look like.
Was that in Morgan City?
It was. It was the longest road into Morgan City. It was a longer road when we lost on the way out.
Well, just wait till you hear how we lost, all right? So we get set. As I recall, and I could be making this up, and I'll ask you to actually help me out with this, I believe someone dunked from the opposing team in pregame.
They did.
An 8th grade team. Now, look, I think our tallest kid was maybe 6 feet. I think Brandon was maybe 6 feet, something like that. And they had kids dunking in pregame warm-ups. And all I can think of when I'm looking out there is, uh-oh. There's some real trouble here. All right, so the game progresses, and it is painfully obvious we're not going to be in this one, right? Things are going south in a hurry. Do you remember what the halftime score was?
I tried to forget.
I don't remember it at all.
I know we were down a lot, and it was just trying to get out of there with some source of pride left over. That was it.
Speaking of source of pride, Rogers, let me explain to you what went down in the huddle sometime in the early to mid fourth quarter. All right? I'm like probably the third from the last guy off the bench, all right? So Chris has got the subs in, right? It's the other guys. And he calls us around. And he puts us in a circle, and he's pepping us up and he's getting us ready, and last thing he says to us, Rogers, when he sends us on the court is, "Hey guys, don't let him get 100. I'm not kidding. My man looked at these 8th grade kids and said, "Hey guys, don't let him get 100. And did we do that? Nope. We let him get 100, I think pretty easily, as a matter of fact. Now, do you remember the final score? Because I do.
I don't remember the final score. All I remember is I was running down the sideline one time when it got close to 100, trying to coach them up, and I hit a puddle. There was a wet spot on the floor, and I go to my back during the game, and I think they scored their 100th point as I'm picking myself up off the ground, which is totally, the great memory I have from that whole debacle.
Well, I do have the final score forever etched in my memory. I'll never forget it as long as I live. I don't know. I don't remember if we scored a late basket or if they scored. I don't know how it got there. But we did not lose by 100 points. We lost by 98. We lost 117-19. That was the final score. 117-19.
One of the roughest shooting nights ever.
I mean, we could not have been more overmatched. Now, I'm going to hope, and you can correct me if I'm going to hope that's the worst coaching job you've ever worst game you've ever been a part of in the history of your coaching. I hope that's the case.
Most lopsided loss ever, no doubt about it. Yeah, to this day.
Yeah, but I will say this. In the end, we all shook it off, even though I still remember to this day the very final score of 117-19. And I will never let you forget it, even if you end up being the Duke head coach and replace Mike Krzyzewski. It doesn't matter. I will say that was some of the most fun that I ever had. Was that group of kids? We're piled into the big white vans. We're driving all over the place. The road to Morgan City goes on forever. Even now, by the way, I'm going to Thibodaux, so I'm going through Morgan City tomorrow. So I understand where it's coming from. But I will tell you, that was a heck of a lot of fun. And no matter what happens, I don't know where that trophy is. Do you still have that trophy? Does Broadmoor Baptist have that trophy?
I'm sure they had it at some point, but when they renovated their gym, I'm sure it's lost out there in some closet.
I mean, look, we know that there's never been a better group of athletes that have come through that place than our 8th grade team from 1991.
No doubt.
I don't think there's any question. All right, so for those that are wondering, again, give us the details, the tournament, when it's going.